Well, alrighty. So over the past couple of weeks, the Star Wars series, The Acolyte, has been taking a lot of bidding from Star Wars fans, and make no mistake about that, it is highly deserved. Speaking as someone who has seen all 5 episodes of this show, it is an absolute disaster. Matter of fact, the first 5 episodes have been sucker shiznit. Of course, the 5th episode was slightly better. However, it is still a sucker shiznit. It just has less shiznit inside of that sack. However, regardless of the fact that the fans are actually sharing their true feelings regarding this, as they should, which is their right to actually show that they don't like this show because it is doing everything that it can possibly wrong at almost a deliberate, purposeful way. I mean, seriously, I don't even know how to explain this. But regardless of the fact that people have been, talking about how bad this thing is and the reviews have been terrible, we're still getting the copium. I mean, I could say the copium is very strong with the mainstream media and the access media, because as you well know, access media will access. They will still try to cope with this show, trying to tell you that this show is doing so great. And a couple of weeks ago, when this show came out, we saw the Hollywood Reporter trying to tell us how good this show was, saying The Acolyte gives Disney Plus its best series opening of 2024, which is absolutely telling us nothing, because none of us had seen any numbers from Nielsen rating from any show coming out of Disney this year. They were not the only one who were trying to prove that this show is great, as Variety also came out with this, saying The Acolyte joins Andor as another Star Wars success on Disney Plus TV reviews. Well, that's not true at all, because you're probably talking about the critics that we know are probably in the back pockets of Disney or something of that nature. Now, when it comes to the Andor series, people said that after the episode 3 that it got a little bit better. I tried the episode 1, it was a snooze fest, and so I didn't really check it out, but maybe I'll go check it out now, because the audience have been right so far for most of the shows that I've watched and most of the movies that I've gone to see with my own money at the movie. So maybe I might give Andor a shot. Might as well. After all, I am giving Acolyte a shot to my own regret. But in any case, you guys, they weren't the only one. They're still trying to tell us that this show has seen something. I mean, its opening was so fantastic. Variety says The Acolyte reaches 11.1 million views in 5 days, nearly 3 million short of Ahsoka's debut. The only reason why they included the 3 million short of Ahsoka debut is because a lot of people called them out when they first printed out this thing, talking about how he got 11.1 million. Now, that would seem like it's pretty great, because all we've been hearing is how Doctor Who series had been seeing 2.12 million viewers, 2.2 million viewers, and it saw 2.6 million viewers at one point, which they were saying it was really great at that very point. But that was the episode where the Doctor was barely on it. He was on it from maybe in the beginning and showed up at the tail end doing the exact same thing he did in the beginning of the show. He was really not in that episode at all. I think it was called 73 Yards, in which it was more about Ruby Sunday than anything else. But in any case, you guys, because of that, they were trying to tout this as it did well. But everybody were asking, how many minutes did the people that actually saw these first 2 episodes see it for? Because I tried and I couldn't make it past the first 5 minutes before falling off to sleep. I tried the next day and I couldn't make it past the next 5 minutes and I fell off to sleep. And third day and fourth day, it took me at least approximately 5 days to watch those 2 episodes. So regardless of the fact that we are seeing all this, regardless of the fact that everybody knows that this show is an absolute abysmal, show, it is a disaster of a show, currently sitting at 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and of course, the critics whom Disney has got in their back pocket, in my own personal opinion, are still giving it an 84%. It was in the 90s before, and it has dropped now. Regardless of what we can see, regardless of how we all feel about this show, well, Access Media Screen Rant is trying to tell us that, hey, we need to forget about Rotten Tomatoes. Forget Rotten Tomatoes. New viewership data shows what's really going on with The Acolyte, which is really, really, really funny to me because they don't want you to believe your own eyes. They still are trying to cope with what is going on, and they are still trying to tell you that, hey, don't believe what you're seeing with your own eyes. We got the facts for you. We've got the facts for you. So let's dive into these so-called facts. They said The Acolyte, Disney's newest Star Wars TV show, may be being reviewed bombed, but new viewership data gives a sense of what really is going on. Now, there is a trend that I've noticed with how they're now referring to Star Wars fans, particularly after the main star, Amanda Sternberg, came out with that musical video in which she was doing what I would call Atilogun dancing from Nigeria, but some people are saying she's rage twerking, but she doesn't have quite the elements, the properties to be twerking at all, if you know what I mean. You know, after that, they started calling the fans bigots. The Acolyte has been review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score there now stands at an improbable 14%, right? They also said the Star Wars fandom has always been prone to division, but Leslie Headley's Star Wars Disney TV show seems to have become a massive flashpoint, right? So they're talking about all of this thing and how it has been review bombed, and they're not the only one. Pink News also came out with the same thing, saying new Star Wars series, The Acolyte, review bombed by bigots and angry fans amidst woke backlash. So let's jump straight into what's happening. I mean, if this show truly has Star Wars fans, because they've told us that we're not Star Wars fans if we don't like this, but because we're just bigots, we're not true Star Wars fans. Let's see what it did. So it finally hit Nielsen's ratings, and it got up to number 6 with 380.5 million views after the 5th episode. Its first 2 episodes released on the first day had 210 million minutes. Sorry, not views, million minutes, right? However, these people think that we don't know how to read. They don't think that we know how to do our own research. So they are putting this out there trying to tell us that, hey, this show is doing fantastically well. But let's compare some apples to apples, right? Some apples to apples comparison, not apples to oranges. What other thing can we compare it to than other Star Wars shows that have aired on Disney in recent times? So the Jedi Temple Archives actually wrote this article last year when Ahsoka came out and did an apples to apple comparison with other Star Wars show, and this was what they got. Nielsen reports 829 million viewing minutes for Ahsoka in week 1, which means for the first 2 episodes, which had a total combined length of 97 minutes, including end credits, right? So this is it. Ahsoka had 829 million minutes, Andor had 624 million minutes, and Obi-Wan Kenobi had 1,026,000,000 minutes watched for their first 2 episodes each. Does it look like The Acolyte is anywhere near those things? And this is what makes me laugh. They should be ashamed to talk about a show being review bombed, because if a show's really good, there is no chance in hell that review bombing that show is going to affect the ratings. I mean, go and look at what's the name of that Game of Thrones series right now. How come that series isn't being review bombed? What do they call it? House of Dragon. How come it isn't review bomb, right? Didn't they race swap certain characters in it? Didn't they make it more diverse for everybody, for modern audiences? But they did not sacrifice the storyline. They did not sacrifice the dialogue. They did not sacrifice the script for agenda purposes, and so people still end up liking the show. Give us a good show and we will give you good reviews. It's as simple, and that's the simple way that this thing works. However, when it comes to these people, they would prefer to call us racist, bigots, and sexist for not liking their show because the show is so diverse. And at this point in time, all I want to do is this. I want to call on the fans, man. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? This show was on 13% and now it's on 14%. Come on, guys. Single digits. Single digits. We need to do this. Come on. We can do it. Come on. But that's all I got for you regarding this particular video. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, ding that bell for notification, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace, and Sire's out. Bye-bye now.